Welcome everyone, Sam Bakai here, and welcome to Enterprise DNA's latest virtual summit. We're calling it the Industries, Analytics and Application Summit, as you can see on my screen. And just want to say a really big welcome and thank you for joining me and the team on this event that we've organised over the next few days. If you've experienced one of our summits before, you are in for a ton of information and value that you can really apply, like practically apply to your overall development, not only in Power BI, but also maybe with Power Apps and Power Automate and other tools in the ecosystem. So, there's a lot that you can obviously learn, but, we know that to get huge benefits, it's about applying a lot of these things. And so, excited to empower you as much as we can. That's always our goal with a lot of this content, and really see what you can do and what you can make of all of this, all of these great speakers and experience that we bring together. So just a bit of logistics. We've got 3 days here. We've got over 20 sessions that we're going to be, that will be being presented throughout each day. We try and cater towards everyone with our summits. We have users all around the world in over 125 countries now. And so, and that doesn't include all of the others in our community and those that watch us and know us online. And that could be, that's obviously you're a part of that. So we've got, during my time zone, we've got some overnight, and US time zone, American time zone, Asian time zone. So hopefully you can have the opportunity to catch some of these sessions live. If not, we have our amazing new platform we've developed this year, which will be holding all the replays. So if you do miss one, you can watch it there. The only thing is you have to upgrade to be able to watch any replays or access the resources. You have to have access to our on-demand platform. We do have an amazing promotion at the moment, so please check that out if you want to take advantage of it. But in any case, we make the live sessions free, so please enjoy, and hope as I said, hopefully you get a lot out of it. So thanks to all, just quickly, thanks to all of our sponsors. Really appreciate it. As always, I've always really great partnerships with Power BI, and these are the tools in the ecosystem, the brands in the ecosystem that we really trust and we really like. So it's great to always be working with them. I don't think I'll do a bit of a run through here. I might just jump into my content. My content is all about, I'm gonna literally show you today how you can become a data engineer, and that's how I'm going to kick off this summit. I'm going to show you the power that you now have, particularly with Dataflows, but also just other features within the Power BI suite that enable you to become a low-code data engineer. Data engineers used to be paid large salaries in organizations to do a lot of the stuff that you can do now with Power BI and particularly Dataflows. And so I want to show you, how you can actually do that. And the reason why I chose this topic in this summit to start off with is because it's a universal technique. You can use the techniques that I showcase to you across anything, any data set, any environment. So it's a very reusable and effective way to engineer and manage your data. And so that's what I want to really cover. Okay, but please have a look through the registration page. All the details are here about all the sessions. I mean, it's truly amazing what we're able to put together. I'm so proud of the team who work tirelessly to coordinate everyone, to get everyone on board and bought into the event, and then bring it all together. I'll be doing a couple of sessions during the event, one session each day actually. So I'm highly involved with the content that I'm putting out, but a lot of we're bringing a lot of experts together these days. That's part of our just general strategy around adding value to our users, as we want to bring the best of the best together to provide the greatest content and experience. Learning and skill development experience. Okay, so look, I'm going to switch over and just go through a few architectural things. A lot of you have been following us for a while, maybe listening to some of my thoughts and the way that Enterprise DNA sees things, particularly with Power BI. is architecture. The architecture of your Power BI deployment is more important now than it has ever been. And a big reason why is because the feature set that we have available to us is far superior to what it was 2 years ago. Microsoft and the Power BI team have listened intently to enterprise, I would say like enterprise and larger customers, and worked out and tried to figure out a way to optimize how Power BI is actually used. I'll give you a bit of insight of what happened historically in a lot of organizations, and why I think this architectural framework, how you set up your the online service, your workspaces, what goes into your workspaces is all very important. And that includes, and I'll get very soon to sort of data flows as well, is that when Power BI first came out years ago, everyone jumped in, everyone loved it. It's a fantastic tool, but the overall organization around how you implemented or deployed Power BI became a complete mess, because everyone went and built individual models that contained individual data transformations. The model was always in a silo within that particular report, and also teams. There was just disorganization around like where reports and where data sets actually went within the whole Power BI experience. Right, the internal plumbing of Power BI was a spaghetti. It was just an absolute just mess of data engineering. Right. Okay. So what Power BI has done, particularly with how they broke out, how they broke out reports and data sets into two separate things, and then have layered on what they call data flows, and coming soon, which is already in preview, is data marts. Okay, and so what, like in like top level down, like what is actually going on here is that the Power BI team are trying to enable centralization of the data tables or the data pipelines that feed into your Power BI experience. So that that includes Power BI Desktop. Okay, so instead of everyone going off in their little pockets, their little pockets over here and their little pockets over here, instead of everyone going off and doing all their different things within all their different workspaces, and then having a lot of overlap and a lot of duplication, with these new features, with these new tools, particularly data flows, which is what I'm going to really focus on, you can centralize a lot of that effort, a lot of that work into central data pipelines. Okay. And one of the recommendations on top of that, just from an organizational point of view, is I believe it is strongly a good idea, like a really good idea actually, to place your core data flows, your core data sets, or your most common data pipes. Like I use these words interchangeably, but they're all really saying the same thing. It's just like the data which is feeding into your reporting experience within Power BI, right? I believe that you should have a workspace dedicated to these common data sources or these common data sets. Okay, and that's what actually what we've done internally in Enterprise DNA, is that we have a central place where all of our central data flows in. Okay, this data could be used across many different reports because it's sort of like customers and transactions. It's all these common data sources and sets, right? But I think instead of having to manage them across different workspaces, it's better to manage them all in one location. Okay. So hopefully that sort of is resonating. Hopefully that idea is resonating here, because that is something that I am just a true believer in. I think it's one of the most important things around the architecting of your overall solution. Okay. It's one of the most important things, because, I also truly believe this: if you don't architect your implementation of Power BI well, everything becomes harder. Everything becomes more complex. Everything becomes harder to audit, to manage errors, so on and so forth, right? And so, if you architect your data sources, the source data, the data pipelines, then you are in a much better place to create great reports more efficiently, but also less complex reports, right? So you know, I'm a huge promoter of this strategy, of this thinking around how to operate or how to use Power BI effectively. Okay, so how to think about data, your data flows. Okay, and then I'm going to show you some strategies around how you can sort of backwards integrate into data flows, because a lot of you may already have a lot of your reports. They're already in unique PBIX files, right? And there might be multiples of them. There might be 10, there might be 20, you know, and I'm just trying to show you how we can consolidate a lot of that back end engineering that is going into your end report that you're seeing. Okay. One of the other things I just want to stress is this fact that I mentioned earlier, is that we are becoming data engineers. We have the ability to engineer data like never before. You know, there was historically very expensive and complex technology that used to do a lot of what we can do within data flows, which is really like data flows really is just Power Query in the cloud, right? That's really in essence what it is. But we can do a lot of that data engineering so easily with data flows. Okay, it's absolutely remarkable how easy it is. Okay, so just as an example, okay, having a date table in a data flow just makes complete sense. Okay, so let's just start with this example. Okay, so like here I've already created this, and we'll click into calendar dates. Okay, so once I click into it, if you're creating a data flow from scratch, it takes you through a slightly different process. But here we'll actually see what the data flow environment is. Okay, because as I say, data flows is really just Power Query in the cloud. Okay, but it's a much more effective architecting strategy. Okay, you can use Power Query inside of here, obviously, right? You can use Power Query in Power BI Desktop, but for centralized data sets, like a dates table, right, which is going to feed into across your organization, your date table is going to feed into nearly every single report that you create, right? It's better to have this within a data flow, so each individual doesn't have to go and create their own date table. They can just go and leverage exactly the same date table from that one location. That means all users will be using exactly the same table, exactly the same logic in time intelligence, so on and so forth. Can you see, you know what I mean? It just sort of flows, everything, best practices will sort of flow on from this nice architecting, this quality engineering of your data. Okay. And so when you actually, so here you can get, you know, within one data flow, you can have a lot of, you know, data tables really, or data queries. This is what each line represents, right? So these can be very comprehensive. So you can have a lot of tables. I mean, it's almost unlimited how much you could ultimately centralize in these data flows. Okay. And then I can click in here. I'm going to click to the side there. I just clicked over on the side. And then what this will bring up is it will bring Power Query. It will bring up a Power Query online. Okay. This is what it's going to do. So this is just a very simple example. I'm going to go through a sort of more advanced example shortly. Hopefully this comes up soon. Whilst that is ticking away there, I'm just going to actually download some data. So we're going to go through a working example here. Okay, so I'm just logging into our platform here. And if you didn't know already, in our resource center, we have a data library. Okay, and we have a whole range of data sets here. I'm going to just grab, I'll go food delivery. Just grab this one here. Okay, I'm going to use this as an example later on when I show you how you can backwards integrate into data flows. Okay, is this working? Okay, cool. So you see here that if you think about it, this is just the Power Query experience. I can obviously make it wider in my screen as well. But everything that you can do in a PBIX file, you can also do inside of here, and it's all cloud-based. Okay, so it's truly amazing. I mean, Power Query is an amazing tool in of itself, but this is amazing that you can actually do this, within a web-based experience. Okay. And you'll see here that what I have done to create this is I've used the standard technique where we use the extended date table code, which is in the Analyst Hub, and then we have created through that code a very comprehensive date table. Okay, so this is just a query based off this parameter query. So you see here that through all of this code here, you can download this directly from the Analyst Hub. I've exampled this like so many times, so I'm not gonna do it. It's in our platform, it's on YouTube, it's everywhere. It's the best way to create a date table. So I created a full date table which has a ton of detail, right? Okay, so this just like has all of the date information you could ever want. Okay, but then I've also slimmed it down. Okay, so it's asking me to upgrade to premium, which is a bit weird because I already am on premium, but we'll check that out soon. Okay, so this is a more slimmed down one, and then I just very quickly created another slimmer, an even slimmer version as well. So based off that one query, I then broke it down into another one and another one. And so when a user comes now within my team and they want to download a date table, they can quickly go and get different iterations from the one Power. It saves them time, but also everyone's working off the same date table. Okay, we can manage the date table within this one location. Okay, this is so superior to everyone running off and creating their own date table within their own Power BI desktop file. Okay, it is just so superior because everyone can create a date table differently, and then you're potentially working with different formulas because of that. You're restricting the amount of insight that you can create. These things are just no-brainers, just absolute no-brainers in my mind. Okay. Now think about this, but think about it in a more broad sense. Okay, think about it more broadly. Think about how we can actually do this with any data. We can engineer exactly the same thing with any data. Okay, and so as an example, I want to show you how we could mock something up within Power BI Desktop. Okay, and then we could transfer that particular query into a more centralized data flow, into exactly the same thing, but base it in the cloud, centralize it in the cloud, and then everyone else can pull down off that. Because remember that if you go and build also a query within here, it's not like anyone else can in your organization and your team can really leverage that query. They can't go and connect directly to the query from your Power BI desktop file. Okay, they can though benefit from a centralized query, a query logic inside of a data flow, because they can pull down on that data flow inside of here. So I'll show you how you can pull down on a data flow just as an example. Okay, so that date table I just showed you, I'm going to go and retrieve that date table from within this experience. Okay, so I click on Power Platform, Power BI Dataflows, and go connect. Okay. I need to sign in here. Give me a second. Just signing me into my account. Okay, and then I come in here. Let's have a look. You see here eDNA common datasets. This was what I named the Workspace online, and you'll see all of my data flows appear in here. Nice little drop-down folder, basically like folders, right? And then I can click on here, and then I see my dates full, my dates slim. Okay, so I'm gonna my dates small. Okay, so I'm just gonna go dates slim. Okay, it will give me a preview, and then I'll go okay. Okay, so I've now gone and grabbed that optimized table from that central data flow. Okay, this is the way to go. This is the way to do it. Okay, to me, I don't think there could be any explanation for your team to go out and build a whole ton of models with duplicate tables. You need to think more deeply about the architectural integration of all of your data, your data and your raw data sources flowing into all of your reports. Okay, hopefully the architectural idea is somewhat resonating more than maybe it did before I kicked off this discussion. Okay. Now I'm going to grab this here. Okay, I'm going to go save as. I'm actually going to save it. I'm going to go save as. Where am I going to save it? Might just save it in the summits here. Give me a second. Okay, then I'm going to go and grab my Excel workbook. Okay, and I'll grab the table here. Okay, and all I'm going to do, I'm just going to do a bit of cleanup. I'm not going to do an extensive amount of cleanup, and I'm just going to do a few transformations. Okay, because what I'm trying to show you here is that you can actually mock things up within a PBIX file, or go back to your old PBIX files and quickly transfer. You can actually quickly transfer these queries into a data flow. Okay, that's all. This is why I'm sort of hammering on the backwards integration into data flows. Okay, so you don't have to build everything from scratch. You can actually take a lot of the work that you've done with your queries and then layer that on to what you want to do with your optimized optimized deployment of your workspaces and all of the inner pluggings, like all of the inner wirings of your deployment. Okay, so these ones here, I think at times, let's just add a few steps here. Time. Okay, so I can utilize, this is the data engineering piece. Okay, so did you know historically when you use other tools and you want to do data manipulation and data transformation, even if you use tools like Python and tools like other like AWS tools and Oracle tools, like data engineering used to write code, but with Power Query we can do data engineering with point and click. I mean, it is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. This technology is probably does not get enough. It is amazing. Like, a lot of people know it's amazing, but not enough people do. And I definitely want you to be in that camp. Okay, so I'm just going to do a few cleanups here, and almost done. What else can I do? Okay, so I'll just do some stuff here, just some random stuff. I'm going to uppercase that. Okay, maybe we'll do like a filter. We'll just do a random filter just to show that we can do more transformations. Okay, and this is looking pretty good otherwise. Okay, so I won't do too much more. Now, what I'm going to try and do, I'm literally going to try and copy what I did here and paste it into a data flow. Okay, so let's just jump back into here, and I have a demo. One here that I'm going to just try. Okay, this is one I've set up for just other demos that I've been doing. Okay, obviously there's a bit of an issue there, but anyway, we'll just focus on this other part. Okay, so what I should be able to do, so let's just give this a try, is you can actually come in here and you can literally go Control C, okay, Control C like copy, and then come into here and go Control V, and you'll see that it will actually go and copy that code. It will copy all of the code from the advanced editor and then paste it into the query editor. Now, I'm getting a configure connection issue here because it's not reading the gateway properly for me. So I think that is actually the problem. It's not actually the technique that I use. So, and literally, I don't want to be on this call showing you how to like debug a gateway. That can be a bit of a head spinner, but hopefully you get the idea. Hopefully, let me know if you're kind of getting it, right? Like, are you seeing the ability to, I literally just copied and pasted that. I didn't do anything too fancy, and then all of the code was just implemented in my in my data flow, just like that. So in reality, right, like in your own environment, what you could do is you could go to all of your, you could go to, I am a fan of pushing as much of your data engineering now, as much as you possibly can, into data flows. Okay. Biggest reason why is because it's reusable for other people, right? The reality is, if you do work inside of here, no one else can use it. No one else can use the engineering that you have done. But you can still mock things up here and then transfer them into a data flow. Then you can use them, but others can use it as well. And so there's just huge scalability value from doing that, right? Huge. And, you can totally transform your data, as you know, in absolutely any way possible, any shape that you could imagine inside of the Power Query Editor, like with the tools that we have available in here. You can engineer your data to anything that you like. You will find that if you truly harness all of the features and the techniques that we have available to us within here, you can get your data so optimized that your experience inside of Power BI is just so seamless. It's so effective. And that is the goal. Right? And just think about all of the sort of like foundational work that you can do for your overall deployment if you utilize data flows really well, okay? And centralize that engineering work that you're doing. Users can, and if you catalog your data flows well and you organize them well and you give the right access to the right people, it's very easy for users to go and discover things. Like if you think about my experience here for me when I go in like this, right? Like this is very easy. This experience is very easy for it. It almost becomes like you're building a a refined database for your Power BI experience. Just think about it like that. Like for example, like if you connected to a database, this is exactly what it looks like. It gives you like folders, and then it gives you like individual databases within that. Like with data flows, and this is very similar to data marts, by the way. Data marts is kind of similar with a few different nuances. This is a quasi database. We are engineering a quasi cloud database for like uniquely for our Power BI experience. Okay, that is truly transformational to your just general Power BI implementation, because it's not this siloed approach like it was before. It's a more centralized approach, and that's how you build scale. That's how you build efficiencies. That's how you build more more security and more confidence in your data, right? When you can have a more single source of the truth, right? Everyone's after that, hear it all the time, but historically wasn't really possible. But now, with this sort of technique, it is. Now, data marts, by the way, I know everyone's thinking, what is a data mart? A data mart is basically a data flow with the model embedded inside it. Okay, so what the Power BI team are now trying to do is not only are they trying to enable you to centralize your data, your data queries, they're trying to centralize your model. Okay, they're trying to centralize your model, because remember, again, if you build a model inside of here, that model is siloed. It's just within that PBIX file. Users can't really leverage it unless they are accessing a data set. Okay, a data set in the Power BI experience. Okay, but I think data marts has again, it's just a way to tie together a lot of data flows, I think, into a model, and then your users don't even have to build the model. Essentially, they can, leverage all the engineering you've done, and then leverage all the modeling you've done. I think the Power BI team have realized they've realized through a lot of feedback that Power BI can be hard. There's the data querying, there's the transformations, there's the modeling, there's the analysis with DAX, there's a visualization, and so a lot of these things are trying to make them simpler, but also stronger, making the overall implementation stronger. Okay, so I don't want to sort of bang on the ideas more than I really need to, right? But I guess like this is the universal technique that I really wanted to highlight. Okay, it's the ability to become a data engineer, to become someone who really enhances the overall data experience for the analyst. Okay, not only are we analysts these days, not only are we analysts, we are also data engineers. We are also data. We also need to become visualization experts as well. If you truly want to become a master, these are the core skills that you need to develop. Okay. And so hopefully just by sort of working through some of very quick examples, I mean those are very simple examples, you can see the potential there. Obviously you can extend these immeasurably. I mean, you can create so many different queries, different shapes of your data. Maybe if you shape your data one way, you'll be able to answer a question versus some other shape in your data to answer a different question. But again, it's just better to have those centralized. One of the other key benefits, as you can see here, that I really like about placing these all into one workspace is, look at this. It's easy. Like, this has happened overnight for me. It's easy for me to actually see when there's issues with the data. I can actually see where the problem is. Okay. And to me, it's much better to do it here than have them, one, scattered throughout different workspaces. Okay. It's better to have most of your central data sources within one workspace, because you can just quickly see what the issue is, try and fix it. The other one is that if there is an issue, right, that issue is not being replicated over multiples of different PBIX files, right? Like, in the past, like years ago, like if there was an issue with a data set, or a database, or someone changed something like a column name or something, that would go and create errors throughout a ton of your PBIX files that use that data source. And you would have to go and individually fix each one. Okay. If you do it this way, you will pick up the error here once and you'll fix it once. And then, yes, your reports will all fall over, will show errors initially through this one central error, centralized error, but you can fix it once and it fixes everything else. Okay. So some good considerations there around just general scale that you can build to what you're doing here. See, what's weird here is that if you see this, like, this is premium, so I don't know what the error actually was, but I definitely don't want to bore you with those details in this particular session. So I think that's the bulk of what I wanted to cover today. I know this is a relatively short and sweet session in terms of content, but I've really drilled down into the key points. I like to keep it practical, like actually show you what we've done, show you what I think you should do, and then you can go away and see what works within your own environment. Just want to see, I really like some of the more recent tools that have been created here as well. Let's see okay. So for some reason, Dataflows don't come up there, but I think Dataflows obviously eventually flow through to datasets. Datasets is really just your model. Think of the dataset as extracting the model and the data within the model out of your report and trying to separate it out so that if someone wanted to use exactly the same model that you have used, they can go and pull down on the data set. But there's a lot of trade-offs, like I've found with using data sets. So I like to actually give users the flexibility to go and connect to data flows and then do their own modeling. But not everyone's a modeling expert, so I kind of get that. So I get where this is going. That's also why data marts is being introduced as well. So users don't have to be, like, a lot of the masses of users don't have to be too caught up in what is data modeling, because data modeling is complicated. It can get complicated very fast. It can also make your entire experience with Power BI quite negative if you really don't know what you're doing there, or you do it ineffectively. So I get what's going on there. You'll see here that one of the other things that's relevant here is that I'm a big fan of not having too many workspaces. Okay. I think that historically organizations have created far too many workspaces. Everyone's gone off and created their own workspaces, and it's become a mess, absolute mess. And so I'm a big fan of just keeping it manageable. If you're a large organization, you probably can get away with under 50 workspaces if you're just smart about how you break down your workspaces. Okay. I think one of the recommendations from me is to break it down by business function, and then within those business functions you can have sub teams, but you don't have to do it that way. That's just a recommendation, something to ever think about. But at least planning out your workspaces and centrally managing your workspaces, I think, is the way to go. And then you layer on top of that the common data sets idea, where you actually centralize your engineering of common data sources, or just generally all your data sources. I think that is a big yes as well. Something you should really look at. Okay, I think I'm gonna maybe wrap up for the day. Next up, we've got P&L, some P&L analysis, some financial reporting, some Python. Always love Galem's sessions. Always a lot of fun. And then more and more as we go. I've got my one of financial market dashboards, which I'm doing tomorrow, where I'm going to go through some historic dashboards that I've built around crypto, stocks, and then really showing how a currency. I think I've got a currency one as well. Really showing how you can build amazing financial dashboards within markets, like market type analysis. I mean, you can build like amazing reports on anything, as we know, particularly with some of the challenge submissions that get put out within our challenge area. So but in this particular one, I'm just going to go through financial stuff, and then I've got some other good ones. I'm going to finish actually the summit with covering DAX formula patterns, and so how literally. I've done some examples of this before, but I just want to showcase how I can find 20 amazing insights within one session just by copying and pasting formula patterns. I still see just so much effort being put into learning all of these patterns and having to work out the nuances of like how this formula works with this one. I believe that if you set up things well, if you set up your models well and reports well, you can just utilize patterns to go and find the insights that you want. Okay. And so, that's a big part of what I want to showcase in this particular session here. Okay, everyone, I'm going to sign off. Short and sweet, but highly effective, hopefully I've really piqued your interest around, what to do with, how you can you are a data engineer now. You can do just as much as anyone was able to do in this entire space, this entire career about 5 years ago, even 3 years ago. I mean, you can do anything. You can literally do anything. Just let your mind go. Just let your mind wander and just get in there and optimize your data to be as perfect as possible for your Power BI implementation. And you will, you'll be creating things so much more efficiently, so much more solid, like this, the foundations of your Power BI implementation and your Power BI reporting are just going to be so much more solid. So okay. I just remembered one other thing. one other thing, this just popped in my mind. I just want to cover this. Okay. One of the other great benefits is the scheduling. The scheduling of your data flows can be done centrally too. Okay. So sorry if I forgot about that. I forgot. It's so easy to go into your data flows and go to settings and then schedule all of your data flows to happen like overnight. Okay. That's another huge benefit that I just can't believe I forgot. But anyway, that's it. That's what I wanted to say. That's what I wanted to say there. Okay, everyone. Thanks a lot. Thanks so much. Enjoyed it as always. Enjoy the rest of the summit, and really look forward to catching you at some of the other sessions. Okay, take care.